Okay, action!
Wow.
I have a story tonight for you, special for Rosh Hashana. This is the story of a little apple tree and its special secret. Once upon a time, there was a small apple tree. And you know, fruit trees are really actually very small and kind of weak looking. And this apple tree happened to be in the middle of a big forest with lots of big trees, oak trees and maple trees, tall, big with large branches and lots of leaves, very strong and very tough looking. And there in the middle was this poor little apple tree. And every night, the little apple tree would look up at the big trees. And you know what he would see? He would see the stars of the sky. But to the little apple tree, the stars looked like they were hanging from the branches of the big trees. And every night he would look up at those big trees with the stars on their branches and say, I'm nothing. Look at those big trees. They have stars growing from them. And what do I have? Just little apples off of my branches. I'm not so big and important like them. And it was very sad for the little apple tree, because he felt that he was nothing. The big trees, they had the stars. They were great. But one night, a storm started coming. First, it was just a little breeze blowing through the forest, rustling the leaves of the big trees. But then the wind got stronger and stronger. And the branches and the leaves of all the big trees started to sway back and forth with the wind. The little tree got very scared because he saw the big tree's branches and leaves start to sway back and forth, stronger and stronger as the wind picked up speed and the storm got stormier and stormier. The apple tree got scared, very scared. What am I going to do? I'm just a poor little apple tree. How am I going to survive? And then the storm got bigger and stronger, and the clouds moved in, and the rain started pounding, and the leaves were falling off the big trees, and the small branches were cracking in half and blowing to the ground. Sees all of a sudden the stars have disappeared because the clouds had come in. There were no stars left on the big trees. And the apple tree got very scared. The stars were gone, and the branches were falling, and the leaves were falling, and his branches started to sway back and forth, and all of a sudden his own apples started to fall from the tree, and his own apples were falling. What was he going to do? How was he going to survive the storm? But as sudden as the storm had come in, and as sudden as he'd gotten scared, all of a sudden the winds died down, the storm started to pass, the clouds stayed in the sky, so there were no more stars on the big tree. And as the light started to come after the night, the sun started to come up on the horizon, the little apple tree looked down, and one of the apples that had fallen, did you know what he saw inside the apple? He saw a star inside the apple. These were the very apples that were on his branches. Inside, he saw that they were stars. And he looked up at the big trees. There were no stars on the big trees. All there were lots of branches and leaves that had broken, lots of bare tree trunks. But he looked at his own apples, many of whom survived and were still hanging on his branches. He saw stars inside. And for the first time, the little apple tree was so happy and felt so great about who he was, because he knew that inside, for the first time he realized, was greatness, was his own star. And you know what we learned from the story of the apple tree on Rosh Hashana? We're all going to stand before Hashem on Yom Hadin. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to look at all of us and judge all of us. And we're going to be standing there trembling like the little apple tree and thinking, there's so many great Jews and great people in the world. Who am I? What's Hashem going to do to me? How am I going to survive Yom Hadin? But if we remember the little apple tree, and And remember that inside of us, each one of us, we are stars. We are stars. No matter how little we are, no matter how little we know, no matter how many little masim tovim we did or didn't do throughout the year, we always have the chance before Hashem to do tshuva, because we all have a star inside of us waiting to come out. Shana Tova.
A new year rising, a new beginning. Lift your head up, turn yourself around, the world is spinning. Feel the magic of a new day. Open your heart to a fresh start, send your fears away. You've made mistakes, you feel it. You got what it takes, believe it. Any wrong can be made right, just forgive and you need not fight. Shana Tova Umetuka, it's Rosh Hashana. Shana na 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 Tova Umetuka, dip your apple in the honey, it's Rosh Hashana.